Hello everybody, this is Nathan and I'm doing a game review of the just released Uncharted 4. Bear with me, normally I would have a little bit more energetic attitude, but you gotta think I've been up now and it's currently about 3 in the morning. Well, let me get straight to the point on this game. It was developed by Naughty Dog Entertainment and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment. It was just released today on May the 10th, and it was funny because it was originally supposed to be released out on March 11th of 2015, but due to certain problems with some development problems they had, issues with certain people leaving, and also like a total friggin' rewrite of the script, it caused them to delay it for quite some time. Now, the native display of this game is a full 1080p, and it's locked at 30 frames per second. I have noticed in the single player mode it does kind of spike upwards sometimes to where you'll get more than 30 frames a second, but definitely in the multiplayer it's locked at 30. And I'll do a review on the multiplayer at a different time. Right now I'm just focusing on the single player experience that this game brings with you. It is naturally a third person shooter platformer. It is the fourth and final installment in the Nathan Drake I wouldn't say trilogy since it's the fourth one. I don't know what it's called, quadrilogy or whatever, but it's the fourth and final chapter in the Nathan Drake story. And the basic plot behind this game is it takes place 3 years after the ending of Uncharted 3, and Nate has since retired, moved on, and married his lady. And, he's away from doing the tomb raiding that he was. He's tired of that kind of life because it's pretty much whipped his ass so much. But his world becomes turned upside down when his long believed to be dead brother Sam shows back up after like 15 years. And the whole quest of this game is to find Henry Avery's lost pirate gold of Libertalia, and it's a really interesting ass game. I mean, as you can see here, it also introduces first time vehicles that you can actually pilot, and they do an excellent job on that. The levels are much larger this time around with multiple paths through the levels. Some of the levels are well over 10 times larger than some of the largest levels in the previous games, which is very impressive. It does have a dialogue tree aspect to it. As you can progress through certain parts in the game, it'll give you a listing of different dialogue choices you can make. I have noticed this is kind of reminds me of Fallout 4's, that it adds a nice little bit of change to the game, but it doesn't really drastically change anything other than a slight bit or two of some dialogue, and it just goes right back in to the main game. So the dialogue tree thing kind of bothers me a bit. I don't know why they actually put it into the game. They could have left it out. It doesn't really add much personally to my feeling about it. Now, the thing that also kind of bothered me with this is the first time you fire it up, you're going to have to sit through a 5 gigabyte update, which pretty much includes the multiplayer and a bunch of other added stuff, which is kind of odd. I don't know if that's because of the delay of the game or something that they had to do it that way, but who really knows? Because I know this game takes a whopping 50 gigabytes on your hard drive to install. It does have some neat modes once you beat the game, and also some of the things that I was talking about with the 5 gigabyte update that adds stuff like bullet time, zero gravity mode, cell shaded mode, and stuff like that. Now, a lot of people have complained that the pacing of this game seems a lot significantly slower, and the set pieces aren't as grand as the previous 3 games in the series. Now, while I say that the story does progress at a slower pace, it does still have nice set pieces. It does keep you throughout the game very intrigued, engrossed to where you want to keep playing the game. So I really didn't have a problem with the slower pacing of the game. They compare since it has a lot of climbing segments, more climbing segments than anything else in the game actually, that they said that the climbing segments were introduced into this almost as a way to pad the game to make it seem longer. I don't really think that that's true. You compare to some of the other games where it was just super grand, over the top, mile a minute explosions here, just spectacular stuff there. It still has a lot of phenomenal set pieces, do not get me wrong, but all in all, it's a great game. Graphics, it definitely has the best in the series. It does show off the power of what the PS4 can do. If you wanted to know what a PS4 can actually do, and you haven't really seen a game that really stood out on its own yet to show, hey look, a PS4 is actually worth the money, this one really has the bang for the buck. Slight details of everything, just animation down to every little speck of fucking grass, and everything in the game is done just top-notch, a phenomenal way. The control of the game, it does have a slight floatiness to it if you played in any of the other Uncharted games, but it's still tightened up a lot better than some of the previous ones, so the control is really spot on. The music is fantastic. It swells when it should, it calms down when it should, it fits with the plot perfect at all, and the story from start to finish honestly kept me intrigued and grossed throughout. It has got to be by far the best story throughout, especially for all the Uncharted games. This one is fantastic, and despite what a lot of people say, the ending is not that bad. I find it may be a slight bittersweet ending, but it still ends on a very good note, which leads open some things to future Uncharted games, which Naughty Dog said they probably weren't going to make no more, but it won't be with Nathan Drake. I'm not going to spoil it with you, so if you think he dies, well, that's up to you. You can figure that out on your own. I'm not going to spoil it to you, but I thought it had a great ending. Now, for the overall price of the game, it is damn well worth it. I think the overall playthrough of the game is roughly 15 to maybe 20 hours tops if you go through, and that's not even counting if you go back and actually collect everything, but I found this game well worth the wait. Just overall, the characters, the development of the characters, the new abilities you have like the grapple swing, which actually comes into play fantastically for solving puzzles and for attacking enemies. Everything from the ground up on this game is top notch. Just everything, the atmosphere, the characters, everything about it is fantastic. And I actually almost bumped down my final score on this game, mainly just from the damn 5 gigabyte update, because that thing kind of pissed me off. It took a long time to fucking get the game going, mainly just because of the damn update. Now, I know in this day and age, with people and the game companies having to force out a game at a set time, it makes it to where they kind of do that. I'm not a fan of that. But despite the 5 gigabyte update, I am going to have to give this a badass, fantastic, super uber 10 out of 10. I'm giving this a perfect score. And if you love the other Uncharted games, I guarantee you, if you pick this game up, you will not be upset at all. It is fucking worth the wait.